In this video, I'll cover 10 reasons why it makes sense to buy the latest DJI FPV drone, so don't go away. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where we review tech related to making YouTube videos and other gadget reviews just like this one. So if you're liking this content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. With the long-awaited release of DJI's first foray into the FPV market, people are now trying to figure out whether this is the drone for them. Now, I'll be upfront and say it's not for me, and I explain why in another video, link in the description below. But this is a very cool product, and there are actually lots of reasons why it's worth getting. So in this video, I'll give you my reasons why it's worth considering. First up, you get all the gear you need to fly in one pack, versus what many FPV flyers are forced to do currently, and that's source all the components individually and pretty much put together their own system. So with this, there's no more need for hours learning drone parts, soldering, or programming and tuning your aircraft. In this kit, you get everything you need, and it all works in the seamless way that we've come to expect from DJI products. In the kit, you get the FPV drone itself, complete with battery, propellers, gimbal protector, and top shell, the DJI remote controller version 2, and the DJI FPV goggles version 2. It also comes with all the cables you need, including an AC adapter and cable. And a small 1A here is that the connections are USB-C, which is great. So much easier to use than micro USB and means you can mix and match with other gear you have too. Next, and this is actually a big plus for regular drone users as opposed to experienced FPV flyers, is that it comes with a normal and sports mode, allowing users of other DJI drones to transition very easily. Now, normal mode also limits the drone's flight speed to about 33 miles per hour, which is actually a perfect way for beginners to start the FPV experience with not so much of a risk of crashing. Sports mode, however, takes things up a notch and increases the maximum speed to 60 miles per hour and doubles the ascent and descent rates. And then things get really interesting because they've also included a manual mode for, as they put it, deeply experienced pilots. In manual mode, all flight assist is disabled and gives the operator full control, just like freestyle drones. Now, this mode is actually disabled by default and can only be enabled through the goggle menu. Now, in line with that, they've added a number of features that some of us will be familiar with in our consumer drones, like smart return to home, low battery return to home, and both forward and downward facing obstacle avoidance. But these features are not common in true FPV drones. They've also added an emergency brake via the use of a panic button. So when you hit it, the drone goes into full stabilization mode to set itself upright and hover in place. Now again, many hardcore FPV flyers will probably scoff at this because that function isn't normal for an FPV drone, and for many people it takes the only the strong survive element out of it. Next, and this is kind of obvious but kind of not obvious, is that's got a built-in camera. Now what I mean by that is most users of FPV drones, and especially the DIY contingent who have to cobble together their own machines, usually use an action camera that they have to build into and then secure to their rig. The inclusion of a camera is certainly something we'd expect from a DJI drone, but actually when you think about the segment of the market it's entering, it's kind of not that common. Next is the onboard video recording capability, which allows you to capture up to 4K footage at 60 frames a second and up to 120 megabits per second bitrate, which is actually the same as the Mavic Air 2. Now just remember though that this is a one-axis gimbal and not a three-axis gimbal that you have on the Mavic, and it uses electronic image stabilization versus mechanical stabilization on the Mavic, so the image probably won't be quite as good. Now you also have a choice as what type of file type you're able to record in. You have a choice of H.264 or H.265, which is great because H.265 is more compressed, so you get much smaller file sizes. However, bear in mind that some older computers will struggle processing that type of file, so it's good that you get a choice. Hey, just quickly, if you're getting value from this video so far, it'd be great if you could hit the like button. It'll really help out my channel. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos. Cheers guys. Right, let's get back into it. Next is the quality of the image on the goggles, which is also excellent. There's a couple of modes, but you're able to get 810p at 60 frames a second in high quality mode and up to 120 frames per second in low latency mode, so you can be assured of receiving amazing images through your goggles. Another cool thing DJI have added is ADSB, which is the new technology that allows the drone to detect other aircraft nearby. Now, the other aircraft also has to be fitted with ADSB transmitters. It's still a relatively new technology, so not all aircraft have it yet, but that will just improve over time. It means that you can also see that information in your goggles, which is pretty cool. Now, another cool accessory, but it's looking like it'll come out in the future, is a one-handed motion sensing remote, which could actually revolutionize the way pilots interact with and control their drones. Now think of it as a Wii controller with a throttle. Point where you want it to go, squeeze for speed, tilt forward or back for pitch, and side to side for roll. This will make freestyle flight far more intuitive for a beginner to grasp, and it's really just a super cool idea. This really goes against the conventional two-stick controller paradigm. In my mind, it's just another great example of the level of innovation that DJI often bring to the table. Overall, this drone is a super exciting product. And as we know with DJI, even though they usually introduce a very, very good product with version 1, version 2 in the future will be even better. So if this is their starting point, far out. What will the future generations of this product be like? So tell me what you like most about the DJI FPV drone and whether or not you'll be getting one. Let me know in the comments section below. Now, even though this is a very cool product, as I said at the start, this drone isn't for me yet. Now, I've made a video explaining the reasons why I won't be getting the DJI FPV drone at this stage. So if you're on the fence and you want to see if you're sitting on the same side as me, then check out the video now. Thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next one.